A couple went to DMD in Billings. So if you see some of the senators, I believe they went to that meeting that concerns the Westmoreland issues. Some of them are over there, and a couple will have some appointments. We'll have the rest of the senators introduce themselves once we open up for prayer. Newton, let them to give a comment before we get started. It's always good to get started off with prayer.
Senators could manage to do it. Even could legislature. Vi behöver en salv, och det var skotissa. Det är att man uppkör ett uppdagliga avvikor. Man var sitt och det var så det man måste på man ju kvar för att gå det så i bryter. Man inte man sa det hur man är god i vissa vilket det är vad det är. Det kommer ma kunde ke mara no ma be ke ma baru hete malu se ko baru se mo
I think committees budget under the legislative branch. We're in our October session, 2-week session. Again, we're winding down from our session, and one of the major issues that we have is our budget. The budget issue, and that's why we wanted to bring some elders in and explain to them what the situation is right now, where we're sitting at. And our budget falls under our finance chair, Senator Frank Whiteclay from Black Lodge, and he's been handling this budget since that's his duties pretty much for a year to deal with the finance issues. So at this time, I'll turn the floor over to Frank. There's some handouts. Handouts there. He's going to pretty much go over those handouts and try to explain to you on that handout to clarify that. And then once it's over, then we'll start. If you guys have questions, then we can go from there and try to answer all your questions. So at this time, I'll turn the floor over to Senator Frank Whiteclay, Finance Committee, Chairman of the Finance Committee.
All right, thank you, Speaker. My name is Frank Whiteclay. I'm from the Black Lodge District. I'm the chairman of the Finance Committee and the Natural Resource Committee. I handed out...
Well, shoot, Frank, sorry, I forgot. I wanted him to introduce himself before we get going, so let's start from Hugo.
You like to Black Lodge representative. I hold a little chicken. The leader of Williams, Bagari was chief. Bagari. I got mandolin. I hold a little.
Rico Brown, Rio, Street below. You wait till my head. Walk by your note. One had used no brain of that, John Trash. Black Lodge District, not Trash, no brain. What's the Sadak? He's out, but what on the love will these girls so no experience the house walk from a Jehovah. I got easy wait so much. Oh, thank you for coming.
Hello, Thomas Eltel, Lodgegrass District. Thank you guys for coming. I'm also the Vice Chair of the Finance Committee. I'm the Chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee also. And we're doing a lot of work over there. But you guys are here for finance, and I'm glad you're all here. We wish there was more people that came, but thanks for coming.
Yes. Thank you for coming. My name is Brandon Goodluck. I represent the Mighty Few. I live in Whyalla. I know some of the folks here. I'm born and raised in Whyalla, and like I said, even though I'm from Whyalla, I still stick up for the elders, no matter what, whether you're from Black Lodge or Pryor or wherever. Like I said, it's good you came. It's good you're going to get informed. You need to hear that a lot of debt that we've accumulated in years, it started to snowball. And I got some handouts for you guys here. And a lot of it is debt and program debt, that we have a lot of mismanagement in the tribe right now. Mismanagement means when you take money and use it for a different purpose when that money is supposed to go to the diabetic program, or it's supposed to go to the health and human for the wages of the employees, but it doesn't go there. It goes somewhere else. Like I said, you guys, it's good you came, you know. Like I said, if you have questions with your senators, ask them. That's why we're here. Thank you.
Well, as I said, we couldn't all go to. You're cigarette box. Well, as I knew, Oak Grove Junior, JRWA, Mindview District Representative Legislature. Lagen, you would go out for a pitching, netball, you says. They want to, that's all. Mom, Polly Walksky, well, as I video well, as they go to video. It's not for sale, we couldn't all go to Oak Grove Junior. And I gave him a big good way. I gave Benito, Brent, and Frank, he didn't offer to you. He said, you make your face stone and then you advocate for your elders. Well, they want to follow you and allow you to go out. And well, they school anyway. Follow you. That guy, and then leave, go to all that time, go to keep by.
Good morning. Well, zašto čuze, inflise zašto čuze Marlon Jojo, Jojo, koji važi. Evo ja še representative krivi, mitchell bilo, ali kalika informative meeting kiri škola cabila pričis kako liječovaci mitchell.
How check deal no make it say uchtlige chelu nek nu de ashe go go male polygambile na budget bukan 10 years that choose wale banele ko no abe madu sport make babe mashbos they are powerful they spy with Levish this side of Kahua, again, no one best on the each of the Dajikam. Goiwalo has the Lukan, Baratat, Naisa Sawash, go, no, Naisa Sesh, go, picture, Levish. Go, no one best, look, you class that Sutilva, this way, and my Irish, go make it Kahua. Look out, you could him. A late church, and then Maushik Tush, Vajawa, a late church. Over there, a late church, go over and the chick alone, no fish. I hope.
There you go. I think that's everyone. I want the staff to introduce themselves also, because then it's the first time here at the branch, so we go down, or we got our legal, and we got a couple of staff back here. So real quick, your title and your name.
Rachel Priam Cup, I'm the accounts payable clerk, travel specialist.
Balasha Jackie Blacksmith, administrative officer, big the law,
Hi, I'm Thor Hoyt, I'm your legislative attorney.
Sherry Chandler, Public Relations, IT.
I'm Celisa Jefferson, I'm the receptionist. Good morning, I'm Leslie Clayton, and I'm the legal assistant in the legal office.
Good morning. Kenny Priyanka, we hideaway parliamentarian, Sergeant Arms. Then is a boss out of big pitchy glow.
Hey, tell me.
Harold Stone Jr., representing the Mindview District.
It's good to see all the elders here. Get some advice from you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I think that's everyone we've got here as far as our staff and senators. So like I said, I'll turn the floor back over to Senator Whiteclay from Blacklatch here, chairman of our finance committee, to keep going some of the explanations here.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, elders, for coming. I think everybody kind of said their piece. For the handout I gave out 2 handouts. The first one that I gave out was a breakdown of the budget, what's going on, and one of the biggest questions, what's the holdup on the budget. To give you a timeline, we received the budget on September 29th, and the fiscal year is October 1st. That Friday, we received the first budget on Friday, and then we didn't have a meeting. We had a meeting that day, but I'll go down this line, and currently we've only had the chairman here one time since Friday the 29th of September. What usually happens is we start on it early in the year. We have meetings all throughout the year. It's supposed to be by July session, it should be approved, ready to go, and then we just smooth right into the fiscal year. That's been the case in some years past. Some years it's been a little late, but all the time we're always working on it. We have cooperation between the branches. And this year we received it. I requested it probably every day or every week since April. We need to sit down, look at a forecast of our budgets, our monies, and everything like that, and see where we're at. And we haven't had that response, or if it was a response, it was kind of through email and all that. So we received the first budget on the 29th of September, when our fiscal year is October 1st. So that kind of puts it in perspective. Coming down on this printout, I had it, Chairman Not Afraid submitted to the legislator a budget. That legislator wrote to the chairman that his document was not sufficient, and we asked for a proper budget. And the submission for that was in bits and pieces. We required a whole budget to be legal. And then the details of that budget was that it was not balanced. We had a incoming revenue lower than our expenditures. It was upside down. And then from last year's budget, we had a budget of 15 million in revenues with an expenditure of 25 million in executive. And that's 10 million more than what was budgeted, what the forecast was as incoming revenues. And that out of that 25 million, legislature spent 6% of that budget. We had a budget of 2.1, and we probably spent 1.4. 1.3 and some change, and it added up. Rough estimate is 1.4, and that was 6% of that 25 million. Then the budget did not include all sources of revenue. That was the key, is that we need all sources of revenue to make a balanced budget. We need everything added up, so that way we can make an informed decision and make sure that monies are allocated. In previous years, we've had those. And then the narratives, part of a budget is narratives, explaining to everybody where you're using that money for, what you're going to use it for, what's going to be expended for, and the narratives were vague. They didn't include details on each program, where it was going to be spent back and forth. And then we received 1 day after submission deadline, not 15 days before session as required by law. Our law states that 15 days before any session we receive bills from executive. We did not receive that. It was 1 day after the deadline. So our mechanics of that was to have them call a special session, and then we go through the period there. But it's, to me, if that's on your mind, you would get it done. That's how we operate here. If that's the top of your list, you would get it done, because the budget affects everybody. It affects the elders, it affects all the programs under it, it affects us, you know, and everyone through that. So in previous years, we've had budgets that were done early, done on time, and with the proper procedures that were taking place. We require a CD, the bill, and a letter with it. And our law states that we don't have it in pieces, we have it all in one, and so the secretary can approve it, and that wasn't the case. And going down to the middle of the boxes here, we have Chairman Not Afraid responded to the legislature's concerns by submitting through the Tribe CPA for a new budget. While some of the legislature's concerns were answered, not everything was addressed in there. The new budget we got had a 75% cut in tribal employees. The budget did not address law enforcement, Head Start program, back pay to its employees. We have employees that are at the executive 400 hours old, 500 hours old, and going through everything that's through some general funds, even through some federal programs. The average work month is 160 hours, so some of them haven't been paid for 3 to 4 months, and even longer. And that doesn't include the employees that were furloughed, that had back pay and annual leave coming to them, and that was leave and benefits that they earned, that was earned by the employees. So then we had another issue. 500 buffalo were given to the 3 affiliated with no money paid to Crow and no plan for the money to be paid to Crow. 500 buffalo were sold at $1,000 apiece, and we have a special resolution from the 3 affiliated stating the fact. And it was pretty general. There was no plan on payback, what they were getting for it, what the agreement was, and we had no copies of the agreement. The buffalo are trust assets to the tribe. They don't fall under fishing game. The buffalo are considered the same as land, minerals, and everything else that belong to the membership. Those are they're a property owned by the membership. So that's a trust asset that was, we never seen it here. It never came through. It never came through for approval here. And that hit ground on 2 areas is that we have a threshold. If they receive monies through a certain threshold, it has to come through here. There is no expenditure report for that. There is nothing on that. We haven't received anything. Senator Goodluck asked about the buffalo for that because, as he stated, it belongs to the people. And the response we got is, we'll have a bison management plan. We haven't seen a bison management plan here. And that was supposed to be brought into special session, or October session, excuse me. And then we had, we contacted 3 affiliated, I did, and the response I got was that an email was sent through their government email through 3 affiliated stating that any information given outside of business council, outside of the tribe, will result in immediate termination. That was through 3 affiliated's email, and with that, that's your assets, that's my kids' assets, that's everybody's assets right there, and that constitutes as the same as land. That's a trust responsibility, that's a trust asset, and we had nothing from there. We didn't know until it showed up at the 3 affiliated special council. That was done, I believe, on August 14th. And on top of that, we had no bison management plan. We have nothing available, and we still have Non-Indians are hunting illegally in the mountains and taking Crow Trust resources. Our law states that we have to have 2 signatures on that, chairman, and the Natural Resource Cabinet had 4 of those buffalo to be hunted, and that the monies that are regained from that come through the finance and that they're reported. No monies have been reported on recent hunts, and all of the hunts associated. We have an outfitter, a Crow member, through the quarterly report, Chaz Benz. Only his deposits were reported through quarterly report from CEO. We have other non-Indians that are hunting up there on the buffalo pasture that we went through natural resources. We talked to the Fish and Game Department, and they've been active in this, but we don't see the money from those hunts. We don't know where it goes. We've never seen anything from it. It hasn't been reported to us. And when we look through the budget, it's not a reported item on that budget. And it's not no small amounts. Each buffalo is around on the hunts. The last one we got from the legal hunt is that they were paying $6,300 per buffalo for those hunts. $6,300. And then the next one down is there's no documentation for the executive credit card and travel expenses. Right there we have a single credit card by, when asked the vice chair and other people that were here, they stated that they never had a credit card, or when they did it was closed out, but we have one credit card that we know of. And the last amount was, the unreconciled amount was $300,000. And we had last year's expenditure of travel that was reconciled was $369,000, but there was still no documentation on the credit cards and lines of credit for those. And how they're reconciled and what the expenditures on those were in statements. We have never received those. And you know, that's all together. I believe the CPA verbally, we asked him for a statement of these, and he said reconciled was roughly around 600,000, 300,000 from before, and about 300,000 non-reconciled. And we asked for a statement on that. Then the 4.8 million from the BOR, Bureau of Reclamation. We asked for expenditure on report on that, and because that was received from what Executive Legal said was around August, and then last year, 2017, BOR gave the Crow Tribe $12 million, 12.8. So from that, it was supposed to be sent to us, put in a special account. They received that in August. Then back in December, this is all last year, 2017, when that money was put into that special account, only $8 million was accounted for. So that 4.8 million that wasn't there is what we asked for expenditures, and that's where we kind of tied the line between where they made that extra 10 million over in expenditures. Was part of that was from that 4.8, and that's not allowed. Currently, we're looking at the executive brought over a payment plan for that. Not a full plan, but just program debt. And with going through our budgets and our committee and with the different senators here, we'd like to know where that money was spent so we can report to our people. That's one of the things that we have to report to our people, is where that money was spent, where it went, and why are we paying it back. That's an issue. It's in the paper. We've been making the paper pretty much every week. 1.8 LBBP, 1.8 million. The LBBP is a revenue that's generated from lease income on land buyback lands that were acquired. It goes into a special account, and that's supposed to be used for certain things. That stipulations on there. We had a proposal that came over and they wanted to use the 1.8 for summer youth, trash. There was like 4 items on there that wasn't what we thought was priority. At that time, we had services to Bullis that were unpaid. He was stopping services. The elders at that time weren't paid June and July payment, and we had other priorities there. So we talked to the executive. We said, you know, these are your priorities. We have our own, and we said, elders, burial, Head Start, trash. And we had district funds there for assistance. So that was a hard fight. Some of the senators can attest to this, but I had no way of paying the elders. The legislator here had no way of trying to deem that out because we already had budgeted for the elders, but the budget wasn't followed from last year. So what we did out of the LBVP was 1.8 million. The committee decided that was our priority list, was the elders. We put in 762,000, and that gave the elders 3 payments, June, July, and August payment. It wasn't August yet when we're going through that, but I didn't know what was going to happen in August. We went through it and we said, you know, payment might not be made in August, it might be June and July, but Crow Fair is coming up, school's starting, and that's a priority for us. We wanted that 3rd payment in there, and you know, we went back and forth on it, and we said, we stood our ground. We said, we don't know what's going to happen in August, we're going to keep it there. And that's where you guys have the 3 payments that were associated with that in August. The burial came up to 250,000 that we paid out to Bullis, and that was for services because part of our membership wasn't receiving the services, and they had loved ones go there, and that he was stopping services, so we had to get him paid. And then we paid 40,000 to Dolls. Some of the membership that's in prior billings, and they go, their loved ones go to Dolls, and he was stopping services there. So we had that marked out, earmarked for that, and then we put 500,000 in Head Start to start the services there. With school starting, with reporting and everything coming in, is that they requested that we have 500,000 for part of that grant to show that we had that, and then they would be able to pay some debt with that was acquired through Head Start, and then it would kick off the school year. And then the Head Start in DC would see that, you know, we have that money there. Because we're in sanction right now, we don't get no upfront monies, everything is unreimbursable. We have to start the programs with our own money, general fund money, and then we get a payment from reimbursements. So we had that set aside so Head Start can go through the reimbursement process and school can start for the kids. And the trash, we wanted to do a trash payment, we talked to them, and we had that set aside for Republic payment. Another one was for the general fund employees. We set aside 300,000 for one payment for general fund employees. The federal funds were getting paid. The federal programs were getting paid intermittently. The general fund wasn't paid at that time for a long time. The employees there. And that was August, Crow Fair coming up, school coming up, you know. We thought it was in the best interest to try to help everybody there, regardless, is that, you know, everybody's Crow. And we wanted to kick that through there. That was our plan, but as of late, we haven't had expenditure reports from the Head Start monies. The only report we got from the Head Start CPA was 62,000 was expended from that 500,000, and the other 400,000 wasn't reported, was unaccounted for. 432,000 roughly, and when we asked how much was left in that account, it was $1,000 from 500,000. Head Start employees haven't been paid since May. We're well into October. School hasn't started for the young kids. And we set that money aside in good faith, thinking we were doing something good and we wanted to see them start, but that hasn't been the case. We have some of you from Pryor, some of you from Wildwood know that shaping the state that your Lodgegrass, that your centers are in, and that money was supposed to be set aside to alleviate that, to start the programs off, and that wasn't accounted for. Out of the LBBP, the only thing we can account for that 1.8 is 900,000. That's almost half. That's exactly half is what we can account for. 762,000 to the elders, those 3 payments, and the payments for burial services is what we can account for. They send over an Word document saying what that executive paid for, but we wanted proof. We wanted statements. We wanted bank statements and expenditure reports from that account that it was set aside into, where it went. Because, we're halfway into October. October's almost over. School hasn't started. Employees haven't been paid since May, some of them farther out. And right now they're still working. And that's a program that benefits the whole reservation centers in different districts, and that's pretty important to us, and we wanted to get that account from them and wonder when we're going to start school for the kids. And we had a 1.8 million from Cloud Peak at the bottom. That wasn't brought through here, that wasn't expended. We have no expenditure report on that. We have no allocation for that. And that again passes through that threshold of how much money is received and where it has to come to. So when they receive money over a certain threshold, they have to come here and say, we're going to spend it on this, this, and this. So that way that we can go report to you guys, the membership, on where it's spent and how it's spent, and make a decision on there, because the districts tell us how to vote. They tell us what, you're our boss. And that wasn't brought through that same process. And we're asking for expenditure, a report on that, where that money went, how they spent it, because we know it's gone, but we like to know where. Flipping to the back, the legislature responded to this proposed budget by identifying a blanket 75% cut in tribal employment is an irresponsible reaction and not proper fiscal planning for the tribal budget and programs. Chairman Nodcrate has not responded to the legislature's repeated request to meet and negotiate a real budget. The legislature has not heard from the chairman since September 29th. The legislative budget is less than 6% of the entire Crow budget, and has always been in at least 300,000 under budget and has never asked for carryover. When I went back 4 or 5 years, some of my relatives in here can attest, I read everything. So I went back 4 or 5 years, even 6 years into the budgets that were proposed through here. The legislature has always been 300,000 or more under our proposed budget. We have budgets 2 million, 2.1, 2.2. We've always been 300,000 less, sometimes more. This last one, we were 30% under our budget. We had a budget of 2.1. We expended 1.3, and we've never gotten that carryover through all the years I went back. And some of the ones that have been here longer can attest that we've never had that carryover given to us. So on this next box going down, this is our plan for the budget. We want a real plan for current and future spending. And then FMA, that's there. That's a Responsible Fiscal Management Act that says and stipulates that we have reporting from all programs in a 425 format, that we have all of these different reportings on monies that are incoming, that we have, that we hold, that we have policy in place for penalties in place, and that's just good fiscal management. And the big thing we wanted to do was a third-party trust funds for elders monies and education monies. We can budget for the elders funds, but having it actually get there is another thing. Is that we've had budget every year for elders funds, but actually allowing it to get there without being touched is a whole different thing. It's never, it's usually planning at the end of the month and trying to find monies and scraping around to get that elder fund payment done. And then a lot of times it's past due. You guys don't get it until 5 days, 10 days. I mean, June, July, you guys never got it. 60 days, 72 days passed from when it was due on those months. And that puts everybody in a bad way because the banks don't care, the bill collectors don't care that and they add fees onto this and it makes it harder, digs a bigger hole, so the next fees that come up, by the time you break even, it's your three checks down and growing out of that. So putting the money, elders' money in a third party trust funds that can't be touched, that accrues interest, so that way we can plan for the future and have it set in there, and these parties will disperse the checks. That's the thing, is dispersing it so that way you guys get it on time every time for the year. We've budgeted for the elders fund $2,649,000. It's in our budget, and you've seen it all over that it was zeroed out. The budget, second budget that came in, that it was added in there, that was one of our stipulations and the request for the legislature, is that we have a budget in there for the elders. It's a line item, it's there, and then we want to step further and want to put it in this third-party trust, so that way you guys would get it every single time, and there wouldn't be a lapse, there wouldn't be any delay in the payments because a third party would be doing it. And then the other stipulation was the Crow Tribe maintain a balanced budget, that any monies come in, any new monies, the budget is amended and it's allocated, put in its proper place, so that way we can report to the membership on where it's at and what it was spent for, so there's no questions on when monies come in. And then tribe departments and programs be accountable and transparent, that they come in, they do the reporting, they let us know where they're at and all their specific programs, so that way we can report to the membership on what these programs are doing, how they can help the membership, where you can go for services and help and what they do and how much money they're spending and everything like that, because that's memberships, programs, and debts that they're transparent. New Government Accountability and Fiscal Responsibility Act with penalties for elected officials, boards, and department heads. We're pushing this new Government Accountability Act and responsibility. It's what happens is that when money is mismanaged, there's no penalties. There's nothing that happens with it. And what's always been the case is that the U.S. government doesn't care about tribal funds. They don't. As long as it's paid back, there's no penalties for it. And so you can mismanage, you can go through and back forth, and there's no penalties held to it. And we end up paying back all of our program debt, the handout that you guys received from Senator Goodluck. It shows the program debt, and that part of that 4.8 is program debt. That's money that we have to pay back because we received it from the government, and now we have to pay that back. And different programs and grants, when we misuse the money, we end up having to pay back in the next budget. So every year it's compounding, and then we get into this slump where we have more program debt than we can provide services for. So that's where a lot of our services go. And for us, that wasn't right. We've been talking about it, accountability, transparency, everybody campaigns on it. We've had so many executive, legislative, actually campaign on that, but this body here is getting that act together. We're pushing it. We're going to be bringing that through so that way the membership and the people can see what penalties are associated with mismanagement. Because the less we have in mismanagement, the more we can offer to services, to elders, to everything else. But we have that huge program that's eating our general fund. And this is one of the ways to alleviate it. It ain't gonna help it. We're not gonna immediately get money, but down the line we would, and we have every program accountable. Membership, you guys know what services and options are out there for help, and we could make everybody accountable within each program, so you wouldn't have somebody that wasn't qualified to be there because they would have to do a report on it, and the management and the monies would have a trail and they would be accountable for it. And instead of just talking about it, the committee here, the senators, we've actually had that written up. We're going through it with it, and it's going to be a bill that will be presented. And that's our way of trying to hold everybody accountable and have transparency, because this is a lot of money, 10 million that we're having to pay back. And that 10 million, that could hold elders over for 3.5 years, just by itself. But, all these monies that are associated with it is, taken away from services. So that's our way of helping.
So, Frank, after that, so we'll open up the floor a little bit for some of the senators to comment on some of this. Then we'll get into the questions, then we can start answering questions. So, that's a little bit where we're at, sitting at as far as the budget-wise. Now you know why we're not moving forward, nothing's been passed, because there's these questions that haven't been answered. And I know we talk about elders, and that was one of the main things we've been fighting for as a branch in the committee, is making sure you guys' payments stay there. But some of the questions we haven't been answered, and without the chairman at the table, there's no way we can move forward to negotiate and pass something right now. Unless, in years past, we've passed budgets that haven't been followed. If we did that this year, we'd be in the same situation, so it's got to stop sometime, we said. So that's why we're in the situation today, and we haven't had a budget yet. And like Frank mentioned, hey, this budget was supposed to be worked on all summer, and by this time we should have something passed, and we don't have to get into the same situation. Last year we went 3 months without a budget. This year, the day before deadline, they brought a budget. That's not the way we need to operate. We can't get nothing done. You'd expect to bring a budget the day before session. So I'm going to open up the floor right now to some of the senators to comment on, based on some of these points and comments, and we'll go from there. JR, comment done.
Louis, Louis and Dwight declares a part. Picture the law, it was a cake, which introduced by Laga these the law, Ox in the English regime, Laga Nila, and the Constitution, but at 2001. Was the Constitution law. Laga, well, then, Halloween, fiscal management act, what I do, I got it. But misspent go solid blade, go on the what by who, like a lady was DY to bodies, these are Costa, lady solid blade, go to like July, die you got a budget could I'll let go budget good. October 18th, budget good. What should I say? Ik wil graag weten dat bagakare konil Google itchigashasu. Mchishuka na itchimu chi hasalu tugikna maleni alaps alilao bye imira Google elegina kalgonina Pojikon kalchikshikuta Malapashua Kasu. And all of us will cast to people, down the line, everything much for that. Cuts Cadeo and Tavilu, and I'm going to go fish all the elders there, and if we was up, so. John was going to look at the, we small out good children. Oh, well, they know, elders, education, looked in a separate account, but I get or John will do the money's good set. Watch for a non negul. You call it Biai, Gamawilla, Kumela, and my Valera, who Vallejo children, a whole Valera pick, Navalera fish, Vallejo children, who Saul, Valera, who, and now who, accountability, good wood. Then I know we are asked business good, politics good, by the 2 years, while we sell carpet factory, good and all we could start, but now the stone without you, and then sure, what was it? Now, Chairman Van or Chairman Oak Cabinet, one allowing that dollar, what I know the money goes to now separating politics from business. Well, you will then lose on what other not do go to pay the go to again Frank DJ numbers the early Malasha charge and I wasn't sure but we to sure these are each you got time I'm gonna go so Sergeant or Kale Hawks they know the police that go to quarterly session. From here on, every quarterly session would be good for elders to come like this, and we talk to them, not only for the budget right now for theirs, but there are constituents in Balewali they steal. While we make them tilt and go Balewali like but they take. Take when I say was a shoe. You do it. Some Monday they get because then they like John Paul's Valeni Hula. Need the law created for fraud and embezzlement and the Loshe Yomushi and but Joe is a Joe and give for that job. My colleagues look, you what what you still but let you wait you do. You Ekil BYS at the Ijigo log. Balewal news to. In a brand and the quality Ronnie Skitching, the quality usual. You could eat to. Hula Eushmal, the fish was us. And Kotajek, the quality jet to. Bakalia, while they draw because will say with the peaches that was Joe to you. And again, in the Frank, I'll see you. The questions that I do not Frank now for Senators Diego Avila.
Hold on. So, senators, if you guys want to make a comment, now's the time. Then we'll take questions after that. Anybody? One once? Comments? Bonito. Senator Brown.
John Paul, Kalgolashi, must give it to John Paul. Operate to Maria Horis and home of the law. And Julio, Norman, used to give a day. All of us, Night Bill, great well, surely the book paint, red all used to give one with noses. Look, Bawagan away, look to. People couldn't need come he used to not all in. Put that pick of baby. That child, you will get. Deal, you want to choose guys. Sabi, I see no reason. Sabi you okay, bring the show, so put a count green connect. I could submit the bar to get Chiviga. In there, you are was good to raise up, so Charles was getting what's the second, he's a wapaka, 18 watt, this was he that slab week was plus said, you need out of you, we got it. Well, good, some hui, why it got it, Bagada, Kumas Miss Sugaga had started. She got him, she was getting moved. How come there's no school? I want to go to school, I want to get in a bus and go over there. I went over there and there's no teachers over there. You could as you go. They General Reed, look, Sabbath, but the mall parade, the swelling, the smelling, Bill Mecho, he go to the school there. Because 3-4 weeks that baby school. I go to the go to Lushville, go there, cross country, then you need to go to they will break on football, probably they don't play. That's it. 6 canal, meanwhile, it's one of the big cat, they go out to no guys, that may plan, you do touch the football, the show it, they yesterday, one like charge, they turn out. But then any horse, school is a horse, lecture, holy, saway, big white comb, big bus, big cat. They was all the block to the tea master. You go in near which much charge. Cook all well to get cook the Lucas are the it ties really almost. Oh, the morning, anything to say? Okay, oh, I could say John Paul away must. They knew the big woman.
Okay, senators, any more comments from the body? I'll make it now. We'll go to the questions. Tom, well, Benito's Mike Anderson, so take some questions from the elders.
Yeah, hey, whatever. Damn right.
These whole mouth, you got a shady massage a week. Okay, next one to go back. We hit it. Okay, you are big, but she got a Frank. A cook it. I was going to play a cook. Hey, I know, my vagina, Lloyd, couldn't call it. And now she got the Benito's look at beach killer, we go for you. Hey, I'm glad you brought all them points. Okay, you are big. Seed funds, so where you leave. Anybody in here know about the seed funds? I know you do, Frank, because I always talk to you about it. Seed funds was out on Gillico. They do it is used to legislators. They're not trouble dollars. It's money that's inherited. To you, indirect costs will go. They know about indirect costs, but that's how it's not even on here. Am I right?
No, it's not on there.
See, now you don't even have a budget. America, I talked to Frank and Lloyd. What happened to the Conoco's $10 million? So, do you know how it's spent? So expenditure report out. What happened to the spill at Soap Creek money? What happened to the money on petroleum tax? You don't even know. It's on the Gillico petroleum tax that goes to every year. It's almost $1 million. So what happened to that money? If you guys FMA law, what are you guys going to do about it? That's my question. You know, you talk about a lot of things here, but what are we going to do? Okay. Big with the Hubus. Noga, was a walk why did what power we looked up? Noga, Ma Beta Jordan is the sheep, it must be married, big sheep. I think that's going back to back in the 60s when my brother Dwight Stewart used to live with us and went to school. That's how close we were. Okay, you know, receivership of same old he doesn't know anything about it. He wasn't around. He was back in Arizona. Newton, you know. Okay, now here with you, straight now we get Yukos. Okay, big yoyos. And the way is, you don't know what happened then. I mean, I get one cheese to the too much. Come on, little solo. The mother said, I know about. But you won't got his short W, I got a plan for the mule. But I think we're going to go back to last year again. I think Yaga from a $75 to $95 million empire of Darren O'Connell in the previous administration's built. Now we're down to about 33 million, 25 million. They're not 25 million today. How much of that is your C fund? So from almost from a $3 to $4 million C fund program, you're probably down to about 800,000. It all depends what's the percentage. 26, I think when we left office it was 26? 23%. So, okay, right?
And that was the question we had on the IDC. You know, we talked about the C fund. And what we got from there was a 20% umbrella across all programs. So, you know, it's just words until you see it and you hear it from the horse's mouth. So what we did was we were talking with OST, we have a meeting with all the BIA, all that, to get a program. We requested that for each individual program's percentage, because if we're negotiating that 20% on the umbrella, how much are we losing out on? That's a lot of money on that percent. What was before was 23%. Last year, some of them were at, the only one I know of is CCRO, which was at 24%. There's individual percentage on these programs that the tribe would charge to house and facilitate these programs, and that money goes back into the tribe. And then they can use that. That's what they charge these programs. But a 20% umbrella across the whole board is pretty much unheard of. You can negotiate on each program individually. And you're talking about, you know, what are we going to do if we're going to be in the same boat as last year? And like Senator Alden said, you know, last year we never had a budget. It came through from, we had a budget ready, everything was there, they never, you know, didn't come to the table, nothing was signed all the way up into December. Then it was signed around December 15th. And under protest. But signing under protest is still signing. And then, but following it is another story. That's why we're getting into the government account with penalties for elected officials, boards, and department heads. Working with our legal Thor, is that there has to be some accountability for that. We always talk about it, but in actuality, there is no accountability. There's nothing that comes through with it. And so the legislature here wanted to, you know, put that ahead in the forefront and setting up these third party so that the elders get their money, you know, from a third party that we bypass, and it comes directly and it's on time every time. So that's the plans that we're in here for that. And you know, just like I said, we talked to OSD, we're talking to OIG, we're talking to BOR, BIA, all the parties associated with that. And they're all aware that we have no budget. All the parties included are aware that there's no budget, and that drawdowns will not come out from different departments, interior departments will not come down without a budget. You know, we made that clear this year. I wasn't finance chair last year, and I'm not sure if it was made clear to all the parties intended last year, but we sent out a letter this year on the 29th, and we let them all know, so that way expenditures will not be made outside of the budget, because that's against the law.
You said you were going to protect the elders. My grandson is the power manager for Crow Fair, okay? And there's no money budget for